to pass this legislation. Have you got any confirmation from leadership that they might prioritize this once we're done with this reconciliation and bipartisan infrastructure bill?
Yeah, I'll just speak briefly, which is that the hearings which Senator Blumenthal are having has clearly elicited a visceral reaction from Republicans on our committee. You can see it in their questions. You can see it in the responses that they make to the non-responsive answers which they are receiving. So I think that every day it's becoming clear that this has to be a bipartisan issue with a bipartisan solution. And at least on our side, the Democratic leadership is extremely interested in ensuring that we do protect the children of the country. Dick?
Yeah, I think Ed is absolutely right. Our leadership has been listening. They haven't been at the hearings, but they have been watching and hearing and heeding the call from all around the country, and it is an organic reaction from the country. It's not from the top down. It's parents stepping forward with real-life stories from their own families, going to our leaders in the Senate, just as they are their members of Congress, their local officials. And so I think it is a matter of scheduling. Obviously, we have to get through reconciliation. We're going to try to do voting rights. We've got a couple of priorities, but I would say we have the clear and present attention of our leadership, and they're going to try to help us as soon as possible. And as you know, the chair of the Commerce Committee, Maria Cantwell, has been at every one of our subcommittee hearings. She's asked very thoughtful and insightful questions. She's clearly engaged, and she's assured us personally of her interest in it. So I think she and Senator Wicker will be supportive, and that will help us with the leadership. I can't speak for the Republican side, but on the Democratic side, we're committed to action now.
Yeah, one final question. Yes, sir.
Senator Blumenthal acknowledged that Facebook has fought back. You know, the tech companies have extreme reach in this building with their lobbying power and their resources. What makes this moment different? Why do you think you might be able to get meaningful legislation across the finish line now when there has been bipartisan support in the past and that legislation still has not gotten across the finish line?
All issues go through three phases: political education, political activation, political implementation. What's happened through these hearings is there's been a national education as to what is happening to the children in our country. And there's an outrage that has activated parents all across our nation on these issues. And that's going to give us the means by which we are going to move to an implementation strategy to pass legislation. So historically, big tech always says, well, you don't want the federal government in and regulating. That's big brother. Well, what's happened now is big mother and big father have now entered the fight against big tech. And I like our odds. I'm going with mom and dad against Facebook and all of these other platforms. I like our odds. I think we're going to win. Would you like?
Yeah, I think, again, Ed hit it exactly right. You know, there is a limit to how much money and lobbyists can do, even in the United States Congress. And when lobbyists are up against families, moms and dads, who are viscerally concerned about their kids with eating disorders, with online bullying, with all of the stuff, the pollution, the cesspool, the breeding ground for harms, direct harms to their kids, I think our chances increase tremendously. But I will just say again, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been through this fight. We know what they can do. We've seen them. They are ruthless, relentless. We're prepared for a fight. And what's absolutely necessary is to mobilize the moms and dads and the caregivers to make sure their voices are heard. All too often, the only voices heard in these halls are, in fact, the billionaires, Mark Zuckerberg, and the gigantic behemoth corporations, Facebook or TikTok. And there are lots of reasons why this time will be different, but not without a fight. And you can see they are not only relentless and ruthless, they are ingenious. The idea that, oh, it's your problem, regulation, you have to do it, not on us. That's yet another tactic on their part. And they'll get down in the trenches, in the weeds, in the gutter to fight us on all of the specific provisions that we offer, because what's at stake is money, and it's big money, literally billions and billions of dollars.
Okay, thank you. We have to run, sorry. The roll call is on, up on the floor.